Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Heart of the World, day 19 in our 40-day meditation series. And I realize that in choosing this topic with the quote about Jesus being the bread of life, that I'm revisiting one of our earlier devotionals was about this passage in the Gospel of John, where Jesus had just performed a miracle of the loaves and the fishes. And then, of course, everyone's looking for him, and they begin to wonder who he is. And he points out that their motive isn't entirely pure, that they're really wanting more signs. They're wanting more material evidence instead of reaching in to realize who and what he is. So that was the topic on Bread of Life earlier in our series and our devotional about being the bread of life. Where I'd like to take it today is just slightly different, but is compelling. And I think will offer a good positioning and perspective for a lot of what's happening in our world. There is an incredible amount of fear and anxiety. All the survival pieces are being hit, aren't they? I'm sure if you're like me, you have affiliations and memberships, and everyone's sending out all their newsletters and videos and free offerings through Zoom to offer support during this time that's hitting some really deep triggers in the human psyche. What I'd like to point out here is when Jesus says this, he says to them, I am the bread of life. The one who comes to me will never hunger. And when he says this, he's not only letting the person who hears know that there's truth to be found, and in that truth you'll be satisfied, but he's giving testimony to how intimate he is in the material realm. And you don't have to take anything I have to say as true, by the way. I think I've said that enough for all of you. He's stating a personal witness to who and what he is as a human being. And that as he gives this very eloquent testimony that he has come from heaven, he is all about the will of the divine. He is, in the same sentence, he's saying all of these things that are immaterial, that say what his motive are and why he's here and what his mission is and what he's about. And in the very same passage, he points out that he's the bread of life. Think of that metaphor. What is more intimate than the consumption of food? And he's saying that he's that as an invitation for us to enter into that level of intimacy. And I believe that that level of intimacy in the world gives us the greatest position of freedom. It does not make us subject to instability, but rather it positions us to the greatest level of resourcefulness, of compassion, of empathy, of understanding, of selflessness that lets us become who and what we truly are. It gives us that ability to become that. So our devotional this morning is going to simply be one of the heartbeat meditations that I have so often led. I lead different varieties of heartbeat meditations, and this will be one to allow you to come into the place of interconnectedness, not only so that the divine through you may serve others, but that you yourself may realize your true nature. Rumi says that it can be scary if we are a drop of water to drop into the ocean. We can fear that we'll actually lose ourselves. But he says that once that drop of water drops into the ocean and becomes one with the ocean, it enters into the greatest position of power and strength. And that's what we're doing here. So this is going to also strengthen your neural pathways and your immune system and all of the cellular interconnection as well. So let's drop in for this heartbeat meditation. I invite you to close your eyes. And feel, sense, or imagine the beating of your own heart. See if you can become intimate with the pulse. Bump, 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 bump. And as you rest into this heartbeat, bring the focus to the center of the chest, to the heart chakra. And with each pulse of the heartbeat, allow the heart chakra, which has a vortex of energy extending outward horizontally toward the front and outward horizontally from your back. Allow both of those vortices to open wider, trusting that we are in a safe place to open our hearts. And notice at the center of the heart chakra and the center of the heartbeat, there is a light. It shows up in this material realm as an electromagnetic pulse. And it comes from the uncreated from which we are created. Become aware of this pulse. And with each heartbeat, let that light move through your body, filling the physical body to the very membrane of the cells that we call the skin, from head to toe. And knowing that energetically we are much more permeable than we are solid. Allow this light force, this pulse, extend beyond your body and fill the room where you sit and touch those present now and later in this devotional. Let us touch each other. Release the flow of that eternal light to all present. And allow this heartbeat that is the gift of your own life. Allow it to effortlessly move outward to all creation, enlivening, touching that deep source within all, and bearing the fruit of peace and insight. And let yourself open to receive from the pulse of creation. Let yourself receive that light as you are letting it flow from you. It is not better to give than to receive, for we can only give what we have already received. In this place of heart communion, let the fear that is moving through our human species be held. From this place, you can hold all. And notice as you stand with this level of communion, anything that arises, there's no need to do something about it. Your very presence to what arises allows light to be flooded. And we bring this time of devotion and presence to a close. I invite you to use your own presencing techniques to become aware of your physical body, to stay open with the chakras only as much as you're comfortable, to form an intention for how you wish to walk in the heart of the world today. Remembering that your very yielding to divine presence is itself ameliorating, transforming, and life-giving. And with that, I invite you to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, and have a wonderful day, my friends. As always, great to be with you. Blessings.